So this is how my hood looks when completed. And now to seam the hood, make sure the right side is facing up. If your right side is facing up, you'll have your hook on this side. So make sure that is the side that is facing up, and fold your work like this. And we will then be seaming from here to the top, curve like that, and we will be using slip stitches to seam that shut. So let's go ahead and do that. To start slip stitching, take your hook out of the last loop, flip your work, and then insert your hook through this corner, grab that loop and pull through. Now we'll start working slip stitches all the way to the top, and when you're working your slip stitches, go under the back loop of the front layer like that, and the front loop of the back layer here. So we're trying to catch the inner loops of both the layers. And then complete a slip stitch. And if you are someone who slip stitches very tight, just pull up on that loop before you start your slip stitch. And how tight your slip stitch is will depend on how big the loop on your hook is. So make sure to loosen it a little bit before starting your slip stitch. So go through the back loop of the front layer and the front loop of the back layer. You're basically catching the inner loop of both the layers, and then complete a slip stitch. If you hold your work up like that, it will be easier for you to work your slip stitches. You can easily see the loops like if you hold it up like that, so it can go a little quicker. Go ahead and slip stitch all the way to the top of the hood, and we'll end it with a slip stitch in the corner. Just a few more stitches to go. We're almost at the top. I'm going through the last 2 stitches, and now to finish this, I'll just work a slip stitch in the corner right there, and then you can trim your yarn and fasten off. And this is how the completed hood looks. This is where the seam is, and this will come around your face. To work the scarf, we will again be using the bigger 8mm crochet hook, chain 19, I now have 19 chains, and my first row is going to be a simple single crochet row. For that, I'll be working into the back bumps of the chain. These are the back bumps. If you look at the back side, you will see tiny bumps behind your chain. I'll be working into those so the edge seems neat and clean. So work a single crochet into the back bump of the second chain from your hook. This is the first and this is the second. Insert your hook under that bump and work a single crochet. Work a single crochet into the back bump of the next chain and each chain across all the way to the end. At the end of this row, you should have 18 single crochet stitches. I'm almost at the end of my row, and I have 2 chains to work into, and I'll work into the back bump of each of them. I'll work a single crochet each. The last one will be a little tight, so take your time doing that. You should now have 18 single crochet stitches across. So now let's begin row 2. Now the rows for the scarf are very similar to the hood. The only difference is that you will be chaining 3 at the beginning instead of 2 because you want your scarf to have more drape. Chain 3, skip the next 2 stitches. This is the first stitch, so that doesn't count. Skip the next 2 stitches and work 2 double crochet, chain 2 and a single crochet in the next. So that will be our first repeat. Work 2 double crochet, chain 2 and a single crochet in the next. Skip the next 2 stitches and work 2 double crochet, chain 2 and a single crochet into the next. Keep working like that until you have just 2 stitches left. Skip 2, work 2 double crochet, chain 2 and a single crochet into the next. Skip the next 2 stitches, work 2 double crochet, chain 2 and a single crochet in the next. So I just have 2 stitches left now, and to end the row I will skip the next stitch and work a single crochet in the very last stitch to complete row 2. So that is the end of row 2, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 pattern repeats. Now to begin row 3, chain 3, turn and work a repeat into each of the chain 2 spaces. That is, work 2 double crochet, chain 2 and a single crochet into each of the chain 2 spaces. 2 double crochet. Since you worked the hood, you already know that each pattern repeat is made of 2 double crochet, chain 2 and a single crochet. So work that in each chain 2 space across. You will have a total of 5, and I'll show you how to end the row. I'm at my last chain 2 space, so I'll work 2 double crochet, chain 2 and a single crochet into that. And now I will work a single crochet on top of the beginning chain 3. So that brings us to the end of row 3. Now go ahead and keep repeating row 3 until you have the length of the scarf you want. I would suggest if you're making it without pockets, make it 68 inches long, and if you're making it with pockets, make it 74 inches long, because we will be folding the ends to make pockets. I repeat, 68 inches if you don't want pockets, or you can make it any length you want, but if you want to make it with pockets, you have to make it 74 inches long. So go ahead, keep repeating row 3 and come back and meet me when you have the length you need, and I'll show you how to end the scarf and fold and add the pockets if you are going for the pocket version. Once you have made your scarf as long as you want, you will work a leveling row and then fasten off. To work your leveling row, chain 2, turn, work a single crochet in the first chain 2 loop, work a single crochet in the next 2 double crochet, work a single crochet in the next stitch, skip the next chain 2 loop, work a single crochet in the next 2 double crochet, work a single crochet in the next stitch, skip the next chain 2 loop, work a single crochet in the next 2 double crochet, work a single crochet in the next stitch, skip the next chain 2 loop and work a single crochet in the next 2 double crochet, work a single crochet in the next stitch, skip the next chain 2 loop and work a single crochet in the next 2 double crochet. And now you just have the beginning chain 3 left. Work a single crochet on top of the beginning chain 3. And that completes your scarf. Now go ahead and fasten off. Now I'll show you how to attach your hood to your scarf and how to make the pockets. I have now completed the scarf and we are now ready to attach the hood. First fold the scarf in half like that and place a marker in the fold, and that will indicate your middle point. So place a marker there. Now put your scarf down with the wrong side facing up. You can choose whichever side you want as your wrong and your right side. So put it with your wrong side up. And now take your hood and place the seam of the hood right next to the marker. Here you have your marker and place the seam of your hood like that, right at the marker. So this is the inside of the hood where you can see the seam. So that is the side that should be facing up. I use the stitch marker to join the two together, to hold them together like that, so I can start stitching and it stays there. So let's go ahead and whip stitch the two together. Start from this corner. Just go under one loop on each side. And when you begin, leave a pretty long tail, maybe 6 to 7 inches, and start with 1 or 2 stitches there because it is the beginning and you don't want it falling apart. So maybe 2 is enough. Make 2 whip stitches at the beginning and then go ahead and catching just 1 loop along the corners, along the edges, whip stitch all the way across like that. So go ahead and whip stitch all the way to the end of your hood. I have reached the end almost, and you have to make sure you reinforce this corner with 2 to 3 stitches before you fasten off and start weaving in those tails. So make sure you make a couple of stitches. You don't want it falling apart at the corners, and then you can make a knot and weave in the rest of the tail. So our hood is now attached to the scarf, and if you look at the right side, this is how the seam looks here. Now to make your pockets, make sure the wrong side of your scarf is facing up and fold around 7 inches of your scarf up like that to form your pockets. Should be around 7 inches, 7 to 7¼ inches, and then you can start whip stitching the ends together. Starting from here, you go down to this corner, and starting from here, you go down to this corner. For that, take a 45-inch strand of yarn and thread it through a yarn needle and start whip stitching down from here. And when you start your whip stitch, make at least 3 stitches in this corner where the pocket starts. That will make sure that it doesn't come off when you put your hands inside. So it's very important that you reinforce this part. And when you work your whip stitches, go under one loop at the very edge of each layer. Just catch one loop on each side so that you don't add bulk. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's start whip stitching them together. I'm starting from the top corner and we'll work to the bottom. I'll start at the very corner, going under just one strand on this side and one loop on the other side, and start whip stitching. I'll leave a little bit of tail so I can weave that in later, and then I'll make a couple of whip stitches here. And then I'll proceed down, going under just one loop on each side. Stitch all the way down and to the bottom corner. And go ahead and whip stitch all the way to the bottom corner here. Make a knot and we can weave in the rest of the tail later. Now go ahead and whip stitch the other side just like we did this one. Go ahead and do this side and we'll turn it inside out, and I'll show you how the pockets look. I have now whip stitched both the ends and the pocket is ready to turn inside out. So turn it inside out. And this is how your pocket will look on the right side.